Why are so many men over 60 exhausted, foggy, and losing their edge, even if they're eating well and staying active? The truth is, your body changes after 60 in ways most people never talk about. And unless you know what to look for, you could be running on empty without even realizing it. In this video, I'm going to share 6 essential vitamins and nutrients every man over 60 needs to boost energy, support performance, sharpen focus, and protect long-term vitality. These aren't just supplements, they're tools your body is silently begging for as it ages. You'll learn why your energy might be crashing even if you sleep well, what vitamin deficiency mimics memory loss, the connection between mood, hormones, and simple nutrients, and the nutrient almost every man over 60 is missing without knowing it. As a urologist, I work with men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s every day. I'll give you real stories, practical advice, and science-backed solutions that can help you feel stronger, clearer, and more alive, without gimmicks. Stick with me until the end, because the first vitamin we cover is one of the most shocking and overlooked, even by doctors. It might be the missing link in your energy, your mood, or even your memory. Before we begin, do me a favor. Drop your city or country in the comments below. I want to know where you're watching from and how this message is reaching you. And if you find this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Glowing Age. It helps me create more valuable, personalized guidance just for men like you. Let's get started. The silent decline. Why energy drops after 60? Why is it that some men hit 60 and suddenly feel like a switch has flipped? The energy's gone. The mind's a little slower. The body doesn't recover like it used to. And most frustrating of all, there's no obvious reason. You're eating well. Maybe you still walk, play golf, or even hit the gym now and then. So what's really happening? I'm Dr. Justin Keller, a urologist who spent nearly 2 decades working with men navigating the second half of life. And I can tell you, this drop in energy isn't your imagination. It's not laziness, it's biology. But more importantly, it's fixable. Let's start with one of the biggest culprits, mitochondrial decline. These are the power plants of your cells. After age 60, mitochondrial efficiency drops significantly, meaning your body has to work twice as hard to produce the same amount of energy. It's like running a machine on a weak battery. You're moving, but it's sluggish. There's also the issue of nutrient absorption. The older we get, the less stomach acid we produce. That means even if you're eating the right foods, you're not necessarily absorbing the vitamins and minerals your body depends on for energy production, hormone balance, and brain function. B12, iron, magnesium, these start slipping through the cracks. And then there's testosterone. No surprise here. Testosterone production naturally declines about 1% per year after age 30, but after 60, that drop accelerates. And it's not just about libido. Testosterone affects muscle mass, motivation, mental clarity, and even your ability to get out of bed with purpose. I see men every week who think they're depressed or burnt out, when in fact their hormones are simply out of sync. Now add in chronic inflammation, something that creeps up with age, often without any noticeable symptoms. It's triggered by processed foods, poor sleep, low physical activity, even hidden infections. And this inflammation attacks your energy systems at the cellular level, causing what we call inflammaging. That constant internal fire makes your body feel like it's dragging a weight all day. But here's the part most people don't talk about: psychological fatigue. After retirement, or the loss of loved ones, or shifts in your role as a father or partner, many men quietly lose their sense of direction. And that emotional fatigue, it seeps into the body. You start waking up tired not because your muscles are sore, but because your mind is tired of searching for meaning. Let me share a story. A patient of mine, Bill, 67 years old, came in complaining of constant exhaustion. Labs looked normal. He was walking every morning, eating what he thought was a healthy diet. But after a deep dive, we discovered his B12 was borderline low. His vitamin D was deficient, and his testosterone had dropped to the low end of normal. More importantly, he admitted he felt purposeless since retiring from his business. We built a plan, not just with supplements, but with movement, routine, and community engagement. 3 months later, he looked 10 years younger. His eyes were brighter. His voice had strength again. The truth is, energy after 60 is about more than caffeine or sleep. It's about the intricate balance of nutrients, hormones, mindset, and lifestyle. And when one part slips, the whole system feels it. In the next section, I'll show you exactly which vitamin deficiencies I look for first when a man over 60 walks into my office tired, foggy, and frustrated, and what you can do about them starting today. Vitamin B12, the brain and energy booster. One of the first things I check when a man over 60 tells me he's tired all the time. Physically drained, mentally foggy, or feeling unmotivated is his vitamin B12 level. Because here's the truth. Even a mild deficiency in B12 can make you feel like you're slowly shutting down. And the kicker, most men have no idea it's happening. B12 is essential for making red blood cells, which carry oxygen throughout your body. Less oxygen means less energy, at the cellular level and in how you feel getting out of bed. But B12 also plays a direct role in brain function. It helps maintain the protective covering around your nerves, called the myelin sheath. When that starts breaking down, you're more likely to experience memory slips, brain fog, numbness in your hands or feet, and even mood changes like depression or anxiety. I want to share a case that still sticks with me. Tom, 72, came in after a minor fall. He'd been forgetting things lately, where he parked the car, appointments, even words mid-sentence. His family thought it might be early dementia. We ran a full panel, and his B12 was sitting at the low end of normal, around 250 pg/ml. Technically not deficient by lab standards, but far from optimal. We started him on a B12 methylcobalamin supplement, sublingual 1,000 micrograms daily. Within 6 weeks, the difference was night and day. Sharper focus, no more tingling in his feet. He told me, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on." That's the power of B12. Here's the problem. As we age, we naturally produce less stomach acid, and stomach acid is required to absorb B12 from food. So even if you're eating meat, eggs, or dairy, you might not be absorbing much. Add medications like metformin, proton pump inhibitors like omeprazole or pantoprazole, or even long-term alcohol use, and absorption plummets. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still dragging yourself through the day, check your B12. I typically recommend a simple blood test. And honestly, I like to see B12 levels in older adults at least above 400 pg/ml. Because normal on a lab report isn't always optimal for function. Now let's talk forms. You'll see cyanocobalamin on most supplement shelves. It's the synthetic version, cheap and harder for your body to convert. What I recommend instead is methylcobalamin or hydroxycobalamin, especially if there's any concern about absorption or underlying methylation issues. If your levels are very low, you may even need B12 injections to get things back on track quickly. Don't wait for symptoms to worsen. Tingling, fatigue, memory loss, these aren't just old age. They're signs your brain and body are asking for support. Finally, if you're vegan or mostly plant-based, this is non-negotiable. Supplement your B12. There's no reliable plant-based food source, and deficiency can sneak up fast. So the takeaway here is simple. If you want more energy, sharper thinking, steadier moods, and better nerve function after 60, start by checking your B12. It's one of the easiest, most affordable ways to feel more alive. And in my experience, it's one of the most overlooked. Next, we'll look at a vitamin that not only strengthens your bones, but also plays a surprising role in lifting your mood, especially in men who spend less time in the sun. Vitamin D, the strength and mood stabilizer. If I could test just 2 vitamins in every man over 60, vitamin B12 would be one, and vitamin D would be the other. Because when your vitamin D is low, you feel it everywhere, in your bones, your mood, your immune system, and yes, in your energy levels. Most people associate vitamin D with bone health. That's true, it helps your body absorb calcium and maintain bone density, which becomes more important than ever as we age. But what many men don't realize is that vitamin D also functions like a hormone. It impacts testosterone production, muscle strength, inflammation, and even mood regulation. Let me give you a real example. Frank, 69, was an avid golfer. But last winter he came in complaining of sore joints, fatigue, and a kind of low-grade sadness he couldn't shake. He thought maybe it was seasonal depression. We ran his labs. His vitamin D level was 18 ng/ml. That's well below the optimal range. Within 3 months of supplementing with D3 and getting a little more morning sun on his walks, his energy came back. He said, "It's like I got my engine running again." This isn't a fluke. Numerous studies have linked low vitamin D with fatigue, poor physical performance, and even increased risk of depression, especially in older adults. And here's the catch: you probably don't know you're deficient. Vitamin D deficiency is often silent, with vague symptoms like muscle aches, fatigue, or blah moods. Why does this happen so often in men over 60? There are a few key reasons. First, our skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight decreases with age, by as much as 75%. Second, if you're spending more time indoors, using sunscreen, or live in a northern climate, your exposure to UVB rays is limited. And third, vitamin D isn't found in many foods, mainly fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy, so unless you're eating those regularly, you're likely not getting enough. So, how much is enough? Most labs call anything above 30 ng/ml normal, but I aim for 40-60 ng/ml in men over 60 for optimal function. And most adults need at least 2,000 IU to 5,000 IU of D3 daily to maintain those levels, especially during the winter months. Always take it with a meal that contains fat to improve absorption. Let's also touch on testosterone. Low vitamin D levels are strongly associated with lower testosterone in men. When I see a guy with declining strength, low motivation, and poor libido, I always check both. Often, bringing up vitamin D helps support healthier testosterone production without going straight to hormone replacement. And don't forget the immune system. Vitamin D is like the conductor of your immune orchestra, keeping inflammation in check and boosting your body's ability to fight off infections. That becomes critically important as you age, when a common cold or minor infection can knock you down harder and longer than it used to. So, if your energy is low, your muscles ache, or your mood's been off, don't just chalk it up to aging. It could be a signal your vitamin D is low, and fixing it might be one of the simplest ways to feel better fast. Coming up next, we'll look at a nutrient that doesn't get as much attention, but is deeply involved in sleep, muscle recovery, and managing stress. Magnesium. Most men are low, and most don't even know it. Magnesium, the quiet hero of sleep and stress. If you're waking up tired, struggling to fall asleep, or feeling constantly tense, even without any major stress in your life, there's a good chance your body is quietly running low on magnesium. And for men over 60, this is one of the most common and underestimated deficiencies I see in my clinic. Magnesium plays a crucial role in over 300 enzyme reactions in the body. It supports nerve function, muscle relaxation, blood pressure regulation, and even blood sugar stability. But for many of my older patients, what really stands out is its effect on sleep and stress, two areas that almost always start slipping with age. Let me tell you about John, a 74-year-old retired teacher. He came in complaining about restless sleep and constant muscle tension in his back and legs. His mind would race at night, and his energy was drained by noon. We checked his magnesium levels, and sure enough, they were borderline low, around 1.7 mg/dl. Not technically a deficiency by lab standards, but low enough to cause problems. We added 400 mg of magnesium glycinate to his evening routine. Within 2 weeks, he was sleeping through the night and feeling calmer during the day. He said, "It was like I finally exhaled after months of holding my breath." So why are so many older adults magnesium deficient? One reason is that magnesium-rich foods, like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, beans, always staples in the typical Western diet. And as we age, magnesium absorption decreases. Add to that medications like diuretics, PPIs, acid reducers, or even long-term use of laxatives, and you've got the perfect storm for depletion. What happens when magnesium runs low? Your muscles may stay tense instead of relaxing. Your nervous system stays in a low-grade state of fight or flight, even if there's no clear stressor. You may notice more irritability, anxious thoughts, or just that you can't shut off at night. Some men even feel it as twitching, cramping, or heart palpitations, all subtle signs of a system that's overstimulated and undernourished. And here's the kicker. Magnesium is essential for converting food into energy. Without it, your mitochondria, the parts of your cells that generate fuel, can't function efficiently. That means you could be eating well, sleeping okay, and still feel fatigued. Magnesium deficiency can be the missing link. Now, not all magnesium supplements are created equal. For sleep and stress, I typically recommend magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate. They're easier on the stomach and better absorbed by the brain and nervous system. Avoid magnesium oxide, which is cheap but poorly absorbed and more likely to cause digestive upset. If you're already taking calcium supplements, which many men over 60 do for bone health, you need to balance it with magnesium. Too much calcium without enough magnesium can actually increase muscle tightness, irritability, and even raise the risk of heart issues. A simple fix: start by increasing magnesium-rich foods. Spinach, pumpkin seeds, black beans, even dark chocolate. And if you still feel wired, achy, or can't sleep through the night, consider supplementing. Magnesium isn't flashy. It's not the star of every health commercial. But for sleep, stress, and sustainable energy, it's one of the most powerful tools we have, and one of the quietest heroes in aging well. Next, we'll shift to a nutrient you've probably heard about for heart health, but it plays a major role in keeping your brain sharp and your joints moving freely. Omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids, the heart and brain protectors. If there's one nutrient that every man over 60 should be getting consistently, it's omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats do more than just protect your heart. They play a critical role in keeping your brain sharp, your joints moving, and your energy steady. And the truth is, most men are running low without realizing it. Let's start with the heart. Omega-3s, especially EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, have been proven in numerous clinical studies to lower triglycerides, reduce blood pressure, and keep your arteries more flexible. They help calm chronic inflammation, which is one of the root causes of heart disease, the #1 cause of death in men over 60. But it's not just about preventing a heart attack. Omega-3s also help your heart perform better. I've had patients with borderline high blood pressure or irregular heart rhythms see improvement simply by adding a high-quality fish oil supplement. It's not magic. It's just giving your cardiovascular system the raw material it needs to operate efficiently. Now let's talk about the brain. DHA, in particular, is a primary structural fat in the brain. It supports communication between brain cells, protects against age-related decline, and even helps regulate mood. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s come in worried about memory lapses, forgetting names, misplacing things, losing their train of thought. In many cases, adding DHA-rich omega-3s alongside B12 and vitamin D made a visible difference in just a couple of months. Let me give you a story. Henry, 68, a retired accountant, came in because he felt slowed down. He wasn't sleeping well, his joints ached, and he couldn't focus like he used to. His diet was decent, but he ate very little fish. We tested his omega-3 index, a blood test that looks at the percentage of omega-3s in red blood cells, and it was below 4%. Optimal is 8% or higher. We added 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily, plus encouraged him to eat salmon once a week. Within 6 weeks, he was clearer, calmer, and even noticed his knees weren't bothering him as much on his morning walks. That brings us to joint health. Omega-3s have strong anti-inflammatory properties, which means they help reduce joint stiffness and discomfort, especially in conditions like arthritis. This isn't just theory. Studies have shown omega-3s can reduce the need for NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, in people with chronic joint pain. And here's something else to consider. As testosterone levels drop with age, inflammation tends to rise. Omega-3s help rebalance that equation. They support hormonal health, improve circulation, and help preserve muscle mass when combined with regular physical activity. So how do you get enough? The gold standard is to eat fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, at least 2 to 3 times per week. But for many of my patients, that's not realistic. In that case, I recommend a high-quality fish oil supplement with at least 1,000 mg of combined EPA and DHA per serving. If you're plant-based, algae oil is a solid alternative. It's where fish get their omega-3s in the first place. Be careful with cheap supplements. Look for one that's third-party tested for purity and heavy metals. And take it with food to improve absorption and reduce the chance of a fishy aftertaste. Bottom line, omega-3s aren't optional after 60. They're a foundation for energy, clarity, mobility, and longevity. And the sooner you start getting enough, the longer your brain, heart, and joints will thank you. Up next, we'll explore two powerful nutrients that work hand in hand to support performance, recovery, and hormonal balance. Especially important for men dealing with fatigue, loss of drive, or slow healing. Zinc and CoQ10. Zinc and CoQ10, the dynamic duo for performance and recovery. As men age, one of the most frustrating changes is the slow erosion of physical performance. Less strength, longer recovery times, and a noticeable drop in drive and resilience. Two of the most powerful yet underused allies in reversing that trend are zinc and CoQ10. I call them the dynamic duo because they don't just help you feel better, they help your body function better at the cellular level. Let's start with zinc. This mineral is absolutely essential for testosterone production, immune support, wound healing, and even taste and smell. And yet, it's one of the most common micronutrient deficiencies in older men. Why? Because zinc isn't stored in the body. You need a consistent supply. And common medications like diuretics, acid reducers, and blood pressure meds can all interfere with zinc absorption. I had a patient, Mike, 70, who came in complaining of reduced libido, slow healing after a minor surgery, and a general flatness to his energy. His blood work showed low normal testosterone and suboptimal zinc. We added a well-absorbed zinc supplement, around 15-30 mg daily, along with a copper balance. And within a few weeks, he reported feeling sharper and more physically resilient. His mood lifted, and he described it as getting his edge back. But zinc doesn't work alone. Coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10, is a compound your body produces naturally. It's crucial for cellular energy production, especially in the heart and muscles. CoQ10 is found in the mitochondria, the energy centers of your cells, where it helps generate ATP, your body's main fuel source. But here's the problem. CoQ10 production drops with age, and it's further depleted by statin medications, which many men over 60 are prescribed for cholesterol. If you're on a statin, or you've been feeling unusually fatigued without explanation, CoQ10 deficiency might be playing a role. One of my patients, Ray, 66, had been on a statin for 5 years. He noticed increasing muscle soreness, fatigue, and shortness of breath during even light activity. His labs were fine, but he felt like something wasn't adding up. We introduced 200 mg of ubiquinol, the active, better-absorbed form of CoQ10, and within a month, his energy improved noticeably. He said, "It's like I got my stamina back." Together, zinc and CoQ10 support hormonal health, recovery, immune strength, and cellular energy. Think of zinc as the builder. It helps maintain strong testosterone levels, supports muscle repair, and boosts immune defense. CoQ10 is the power supply, keeping your cells running at full charge so that your muscles, heart, and brain can perform without feeling drained. Now, let me be clear. This isn't a quick fix or a magic pill. But for men over 60 who want to move better, recover faster, and maintain their drive, these two nutrients are foundational. What should you look for? For zinc, I recommend 15-30 mg per day, ideally as zinc picolinate or zinc citrate, well-absorbed forms. But always make sure you're also getting a bit of copper, especially if you're supplementing long-term, as too much zinc without copper can cause imbalance. For CoQ10, go for ubiquinol, the active form. Start with 100-200 mg daily, especially if you're on statins or dealing with fatigue and muscle discomfort. Take it with food that contains fat to improve absorption. In the bigger picture, these nutrients aren't just about boosting testosterone or preventing muscle cramps. They're about giving your body the tools it needs to thrive, not just survive, in the decades ahead. Aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. With the right support, you can build energy, clarity, and physical confidence well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Now that we've covered the 6 essential vitamins and nutrients, Let's wrap up with some closing thoughts on how to bring it all together for real, lasting vitality. So there you have it, 6 powerful nutrients that can change how you feel after 60. These aren't fads. They're foundational supports your body needs to stay strong, sharp, and active as you age. Remember, aging isn't about losing power. It's about learning how to fuel your body in smarter ways. If any of these vitamins stood out to you, or if you've tried something that really helped, share it in the comments. Your story might help someone else who's facing the same challenges. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to Glowing Age. It supports the channel, and it lets me keep creating lessons to help you age with heart, strength, and quiet power. Until next time, take care of your health and keep glowing.